Welcome back. We have now considered the first four parts of our question. So we have considered A, BI, BII, and BIII. In this video, we will consider the last part of our question, which is BIV. So let's do that. The last part of our question says that we should draw the image rectangle A3, B3, C3, and D3 of ABCD under a reflection in the x-axis, where A maps to A3, B maps to B3, C maps to C3, and D maps to D3. Let's assume that this is our graph sheet as we have been doing all along. We have our x-axis here, we have our y-axis here. Up to this point, we have drawn the rectangle ABCD. We reflected the rectangle ABCD to get the image rectangle A1, B1, C1, D1. Then we reflected the rectangle A1, B1, C1, D1 to get the image rectangle A2, B2, C2, D2. The question says that we should draw the image rectangle A3, B3, C3, D3 of ABCD under a reflection in the x-axis. So this time, we are not going to reflect rectangle A2, B2, C2, D2 to get the image rectangle A3, B3, C3, D3. But rather, we are going to reflect rectangle ABCD to get the image rectangle A3, B3, C3, D3. So the question is telling us that A will give us A3, B will give us B3, C will give us C3, and D will give us D3. So we are going to reflect this rectangle ABCD to get the image rectangle A3, B3, C3, D3. And we are doing this reflection using the x-axis as the mirror line. So we are going to reflect this rectangle ABCD using the x-axis as our mirror line. Now when you use the x-axis as our mirror line to reflect the rectangle ABCD, our image rectangle will be here and to have the coordinates A3, B3, C3, D3 as we have been told in the question. So we are going to reflect A in the x-axis to get A3. We will reflect B in the x-axis to get B3. We will reflect C in the x-axis to get C3. And then we will reflect D in the x-axis to get D3. We already have the coordinates of A, B, C, D. And we know how to reflect a point in the x-axis. So it's going to be very easy for us. We have learned that under a reflection in the x-axis, the rule of the transformation is xy maps to x minus y. So when we reflect a point in the x-axis, the rule of the transformation is xy maps to x minus y. We already have the coordinates of A, B, C, D. So we are going to reflect A in the x-axis to get A3. We reflect B in the x-axis to get B3. We reflect C in the x-axis to get C3. And then we reflect D in the x-axis to get D3. Let's do that. So when we reflect A with coordinates 2, 8 in the x-axis, the rule says that the image is x minus y. So we are going to have 2 minus 8. So A will give us A3 with coordinates 2 minus 8. B has the coordinates 2, 4. So you get B3 with coordinates 2 minus 4 because the S coordinate here is the same as the S coordinate here, but the Y coordinate of the image is the negative of the Y coordinate of the point. So 2, 4 will give us 2 minus 4. C with coordinates 8, 4 will give us C3 with coordinates 8 minus 4. And D with coordinates 8, 8 will give us D3 with coordinates 8 minus 8. So we now have the coordinates of A3, B3, C3, and D3. We will plot them on the graph sheet and join them to get the image rectangle A3, B3, C3, D3. Let's do that. So at this point in the question, we have the rectangle ABCD, rectangle A1, B1, C1, D1, and rectangle A2, B2, C2, D2. we are going to draw the rectangle A3, B3, C3, D3. A3 has the coordinates 2 minus 8, so 2 on the x-axis and minus 8 on the y-axis. That will be at this point. B3 has the coordinates 2 minus 4, so 2 on the x-axis minus 4 on the y-axis. So we have that here. C3 has the coordinates 8 minus 4, so 8 on the x-axis minus 4 on the y-axis. That will be at this point. And D3 has the coordinates 8 minus 8, so 8 on the x-axis minus 8 on the y-axis. That will be at this point. So we will join them to get the rectangle A3, B3, C3, D3. Then after that, we write the coordinates of each vertex against it. So we have A3 with coordinates 2 minus 8. We have B3 with coordinates 2 minus 4. We have C3 with coordinates 8 minus 4. And we have D3 with coordinates 8 minus 8. We have now solved the question that was given to us completely. We were asked to draw the rectangle ABCD. Then we reflected the rectangle ABCD using the y-axis as our mirror line to get the rectangle A1, B1, C1, D1. After that, we reflected the rectangle A1, B1, C1, D1 using the line y is equal to 1 as our mirror line to get the rectangle A2, B2, C2, D2. Then, lastly, we reflected the rectangle ABCD using the x-axis as our mirror line to get the rectangle A3, B3, C3, D3. Now you see something very interesting here. You see that when we reflected the rectangle ABCD using the y-axis as our mirror line, we got the image at this point. When we reflected the rectangle A1, B1, C1, D1 using the line y is equal to 1 as our mirror line, we got the image at this point. And when we reflected the rectangle ABCD using the x-axis as our mirror line, we got the image at this point. Now, in each one of these reflections, you could see that the size of the rectangle did not change. The shape of the rectangle also did not change. The only thing that changed was the position. In the video on Introduction to Transformation and Rigid Motion, we said that when an object undergoes a rigid motion, the size and shape of the object does not change. Now that is what is happening here. The size and shape of the rectangle do not change throughout the whole transformation. So we can say that reflection of a point or an object in the XY plane is an example of a rigid motion, because when we reflect a point or an object in the XY plane, the size of the object does not change, the shape of the object does not change, it only changes in position. In the video on Introduction to Transformation and Rigid Motion, we said that we are going to learn about 4 types of transformation. So far, we have learned about reflection. In the next video, we are going to learn about translation. So in the next video, we will be considering translation. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. In the next video, we are going to learn about translation and how to translate a point from one point to another in the XY plane. Bye-bye.